Now, Amanda Rabor is the classic millennium woman. She's a mother, partner, daughter, sister, businesswoman, and she says an eternal student. She says her design company is her creative calling to promote diversity in clothing for kids globally. The label incorporates African, Asian and Western cultures to create contemporary clothing that all children can wear. And Amanda is here to tell us more about it now. Amanda, welcome and thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
What inspired you to design clothes for children?
Well, I love children, and I think children, cliche or not, they're the next generation. So giving them clothing which basically incorporates culture, different cultures, to wear and give them modern heritage, that's what I'm about.
And you use things like African prints in a lot of your clothing. Why do you do that? Is that something about empowering children to see African prints and in day-to-day use and in expression and sort of giving them that positive impact?
It's exactly that. The way I look at it, if children are wearing prints on a day-to-day basis, they start to incorporate it into their lives and it doesn't feel so foreign to them. And I think, we live in such diverse times with, so many different cultures. It's easy to get lost. And actually what I'm doing, I bring in other cultures into the textiles as well, because we all have a culture, we all have a background, and it's just exciting to actually meld them and mix them together.
Tell us a little bit about the African Ankara designs from West Africa.
Well, they have a long history. Ankara has been around for years. So when we do, some of the collections do use Ankara designs, and it feels really quite historical, but bringing it into a modern context and creating modern heritage with it is very important so that we don't lose the history.
African fashion does seem to be becoming a lot more popular recently. Why do you think that is?
Well, this has been going on, this has been raising and rising for a long time. It's not just now, but now you have people like Beyonce wearing African fabrics. You have a lot of celebrities doing it. So it really helps to bring it into the forefront, and it makes it less of a background fabric and more of a, yes, African fabric is here to stay.
And we're seeing some of your designs now on the screen.
Okay, that was New York Fashion Week.
Yeah, just talk us about how they were received at Fashion Week.
Okay, so it was received really, really well. It was very exciting doing New York Fashion Week. Hundreds of people literally were at the show. And I think, it's something very different. People aren't used to seeing prints like that in children's clothing, so it was very exciting.
Now, your father's Nigerian, your mother's from Trinidad.
Yeah.
How much has that influenced you?
I think it forms who you are. I mean, I was very much raised with my father, with food and my family. So I know my Nigerian side very well. Equally, I'm very much raised with my mother and her side of the family. So I'm a kind of a melting pot kind of person.
Now, the well-established narrative has been that it's tough for women in business, but it's tougher for black women in business. Have you found that to be true when you were growing up in New York?
Well, growing up, my mother she's always been a go-getter. She's always been very entrepreneurial. So I didn't see those kinds of limitations. And both my parents were entrepreneurs, even from New York and back in England, they were always entrepreneurial. So I always saw my parents just getting on with it and doing their best to bring in the dough. So for me, I suppose I didn't put limitations on myself. I expected myself to be able to do whatever I set out to do. And that's what I'm doing.
Do you think society has really moved on in the past couple of years? And do you think that more needs to be done to encourage black women in business and encourage a lot of people of African origin in business around the world?
I think things haven't moved on far enough. They are definitely getting better, but we still have a long way to go. Children of the next generation, they're seeing what's going on now for women of color, for men of color, for people of color. And I think we have to inspire them to know that they're able and capable, and they should expect to have everything that they deserve in life and not just be limited because of their color.
Okay, Amanda Rabor, fashion designer, and thank you very much for telling us a little bit about some of these African Ankara designs.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.